Welcome back to Mastering Menopause. If you are stuck in this I barely eat and I still can't lose weight phase, then this one is going to be for you. I hope you all had a happy Mother's Day. It was a hot weekend here in St. George. I know it was a rainy weekend for some of you, so I hope that you had a great weekend either way and celebrated yourself. I wanted to give you an update on my quest to get photo shoot ready. This weekend, I have been eating 2,600 calories, 450 grams of carbs. Today's my last day and loving it, absolutely loving it. And I'm going to go back into another high impact fat loss phase tomorrow, which is not going to be as aggressive as this first one. So I will say on the first day after eating 2,600 calories, I got on the scale and I was up 0.6 pounds, which I was really surprised by that. I was like, wow, that's awesome. And then today I was up what I had expected, which was 3.2 pounds. So completely expected. I will recalculate tomorrow once I get my weight tomorrow, and then I'm going to run that through the aggressive calculator that I have been using for this process and see where my calories are going to be. But I did predict that I was going to gain around 3 pounds. So I just want to make sure that I have the accurate numbers before I actually set my calories, but I was really excited that was a little bit higher. So looking forward to that, just going for another run, and then I will take a break over Memorial Day weekend. So this was great to have a break here on Mother's Day weekend, but I will take a break on Memorial Day weekend and I'm just going to go back to maintenance. I'm not going to do this aggressive refeed that I just did. So I'm going to go to maintenance calories. I'll probably hang there for a bit. I want to see where I end up after, because I think that will be 10 days of cut, and then see then I can map out better what I'm going to do from there. But let's get back to what this episode is all about, which is if you are stuck in this I barely eat and I still can't lose weight phase, then this one is going to be for you. So this is very common. What happens when women come to me, they say, I don't eat that much and nothing is happening. And I'm trying to eat less and nothing is happening. I try to eat more and then I gain. And so it's very typical of the client that comes in that's looking to work with us. It's never the woman that's, I don't know, I just sit on my couch and I eat bonbons and I don't know why I can't lose weight. It's always the ones that are trying. I eat clean, I eat healthy, I'm watching my calories, I don't go over 1,200 calories. I will say the new thing is 1,400 calories. So I think we've gotten out of that, but not everybody has. But people are just stuck at these low calories and nothing is happening. And we're going to talk about why 1,200 calories isn't the solution and why it's actually part of the problem. First of all, where did this 1,200 calories come from? It originated with the BMR of a small sedentary woman at rest. And so this is what, if you were to do absolutely nothing and you were petite, then you would need 1,200 calories just to keep you alive, not just sitting there on that couch. That's a BMR that's pretty low for most people. Most BMRs are around that 1,400 calorie mark. But this idea got latched onto, it's been used in those old school diet programs that was cemented by social media at the time. That would be magazines like Shape Magazine or Prevention or Good Housekeeping or whatever. And so Weight Watchers has used this model, Noom has used this model, MyFitnessPal has used this model, and it's just so outdated and it's really not beneficial for women who are in menopause particularly, and also for people that have real lives, people who are working out, people that have stress. It is just too low of calories. So 1,200 calories is barely enough to keep you alive, but it's certainly not enough for you to thrive through menopause. So what happens when you actually eat too little for an extended period of time? This is called chronic dieting. This I am very much a product of chronic dieting. I think literally I was on a diet since, I don't know, probably like 25 when I first started gaining weight in my 20s. And then I had 2 kids. And then from that point, 2000, I literally was in some form of a diet. So that's what chronic dieting is. And I think it's really common for women in my age group, right? I'm 57, and it's just very much what that looked like. You have kids and then you go on a diet and try to lose that weight. And so what happens is when you are chronically dieting, you're eating too little. And I literally was. It was 1,200 calories for me for the longest time, counting out my almonds. And this was literally from Shape Magazine. And just following those things. At the time, I was counting calories. I didn't know anything about macros. So I was using my Fitness Pal, and then I started, I don't know how I started, but I think I started to get a little bit more savvy on like how much you can actually lose in a week. And then I think my Fitness Pal set me at 1,400 calories. And then I actually tried like a couple of different programs, like online programs, and those as well had set my calories at, I think 1,425 or 1,450. Like they both said the same thing. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm already doing that. Like, why isn't that working? And so what happens is when we go back to what happens when you're chronically dieting, your metabolism just slows down. It's conserving energy because your metabolism is trying to keep you alive. And so you want your body to lose weight, right? But your metabolism is, look, lady, I can't do everything over here. I am just trying to keep us alive here. And so that's what's going on. You have, especially with the thyroid, you have hormones that are changing, you have cortisol, like we have all of these hormones that are being affected by the metabolism, which in large part is ruled by the amount of calories that you have. And then also hunger, right? Hunger is a huge factor with this as well. Hunger and cravings. And so like in my 1,200 calorie days, even my 1,400 calorie days, there would be days when I could do it, no problem. And then there were other days where my hunger was just out of control. And that's basically the body is regulating, is trying to get those calories back in. And then also, like on stressful days, it would just increase cravings. I'm like, you know what? All bets are off. Forget it. We're not doing this diet. And that always seemed to coincide then with Thursday. You know what? I've been pretty good. Like, why not have a glass of wine and then going into the weekend? And so setting that up, your body's, oh, wait, are we eating now? And it just sends that signal for more cravings. Now, at the same time, when you aren't giving your body the amount of calories that it needs, we're not getting fiber in that we need. We're not getting the energy that we need, but we're also probably not getting the protein that we need either. I never looked at any of this stuff. I don't know what I was eating, to tell you the truth. I know I wasn't eating protein. It was like, how many crackers can I have? Like, how much cheese can I have? What happens with a diet like that, it's not supporting your muscle, and you can't build muscle when you are chronically in a deficit state. Now, I will tell you, you can build muscle in a deficit, but not when you're always in a deficit. All right. So this chronic dieting, again, that's just going to lead to that lower metabolism. And now when you have less muscle on your body, then you have more fat. And so this is what's happening is your body is just holding on to that fat and it's storing fat because that's the survival mechanism that's happening. And so we see this shift. You lose muscle, and you will do that anyways after the age of 40. Your muscle starts to slowly decline, especially if you're not working on building it, but also if you're not feeding it as well. And so we see this shift, and that usually comes to a head around 45, somewhere between 45 and 50, where we're like, whoa, what happened? What happened to my body? Why do I have all this fat on my body all of a sudden? It didn't really happen all of a sudden. It just becomes more pronounced. Every time you go onto a diet, right, where you lose, and this was me, you would lose the weight, and then you go back to what you were doing and then you gain the weight back. So every time that you do that, you're decreasing your muscle. And then the weight that you regain is going to be all fat. And so that's what happens is now we have less muscle on our body and we have more fat. And then it just becomes more apparent. Also, always being in this deficit, you're going to be constantly tired, always feeling fatigued. Now we start to see sleep issues. We start to see digestion issues like bloating. We start to see mood swings, angry, cranky. And your body isn't broken, right? It's doing what it's meant to do, is keeping you alive. It's in survival mode. And I know what you want it to do the most is to lose weight, but you'll see you might be losing hair, libido. We don't think of these things at all until we start to see this weight gain in the belly, and then all of a sudden that gets our attention. And this kind of leads us to this constantly being in this deficit state. Another thing that we also have to consider, I hate to call you out here, but let's be real, right? Are you truly eating 1,200 calories? Because let me tell you, if you truly were eating 1,200 calories every single day, then you would lose weight, all right? Even though your metabolism is at a slow crawl, you would lose weight, all right? But what happens is we don't typically are not able to stay in that steep of a deficit. 1,200 calories is a pretty steep deficit. Most women's maintenance are anywhere from 18 to 2,200 calories. More if you are taller, less if you are shorter. But still, even if you were super short, I've calculated some women's maintenance and it's 1,600 for petite women. I've calculated tall women's maintenance 2,800. So there is this wide swing, but I don't think anybody ever considers what's their maintenance. How many calories do you need to maintain their weight? Because you're what the fuck? I don't want to maintain my weight. I want to lose weight. And we get stuck at that dieting numbers. But here, if we're looking at 1,200 calories, can you do that day after day? If you could, you would lose weight, all right? Here's the thing, we got weekends, right? We have, because you are so strict, that's not a lot of food, 1,200 calories, then you're going to have a rebound somewhere. It's freaking inevitable. Going out to dinner, some of those meals are 1,200 calories in and of themselves. I'd have to question, are you actually eating 1,200 calories? I'm not questioning that. I don't want you to be eating 1,200 calories to lose weight and then being strict with it. That is not the point. I'm just saying we're probably not just eating the 1,200 calories, and then we're also probably having more calories than we think we are. Wine, the BLTs, right? The bites, the licks, the tastes. There's a ton of hidden calories in healthy foods, right? When we're eating nuts and chia seeds and having dressings and things like that, all those calories add up. And so maybe we just aren't aware of how many calories that we're doing. So what I would suggest, what you can do instead is let's track your data. Let's just put in what you are having in MyFitnessPal and be as realistic as possible, right? I should say not realistic, be as accurate as possible with that. Track it for just 3 days. And maybe we can do this on a weekend as well and see what's happening there as well. And now we can see how many calories are we actually taking in. Is it just 1,200 calories? So now we can make an adjustment for there. The second thing that I would love for you to do, and you can do this all in MyFitnessPal, is instead of putting your goal weight, just put in what your weight is now and just tell it, I want to maintain weight. There is a button on there. There absolutely is. And so with that, just seeing what are those calories, that's your maintenance calories, and then just see how close are you getting to those calories? Are we going over? Are we very much under? And what does that look like on the weekends too? Just so that we know what to adjust. And then I will tell you that MyFitnessPal is only going to set you at 20% protein. That is so low, so low. Just make the adjustment to 30% or 33%. I don't think you can do 33%, but 30, 35, 30 or whatever. Sorry, math. 30, 35, 35. Yeah. And now I'm thinking like 35, 35, 70. Yeah. 35, 35, 30. Yeah, so I would like probably do 30% protein, 35% carbs, and then 35% fat and just see like where that puts you. Ideally, I would like you to be at 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, but I know for some of you that might be high. And so now we can just adjust that and then get your body out of survival mode. Eat at those maintenance calories before you go into a freaking deficit. If what you're trying to do is lose weight, then you just need to take a break. And also the cardio. You have to feed your body to do the cardio. So if you insist on doing cardio 5 days a week, you put that into MyFitnessPal too. It's going to increase your calories, right? So if you don't want to eat 2,300 calories, then we're going to need to take down some of that cardio. So be honest about what your activity looks like. That way you can get more of like an accurate idea of your maintenance calories. And then I don't have to say this, but I'm going to strength training, right? Strength, train, make sure that you're training at least 2 days a week. But if you want a banging bod, like you're going to need to strength train at least 3 days a week to really change your shape and definition. But if you're just getting started, 2 days a week, right? 2 days a week is going to make a difference for your body. Maybe not as drastic as what you might be looking for if you're looking to get toned and again have that banging bod. Yeah, let's weight train 3 days a week. All right, Walking instead of cardio. Make sure that you're getting in plenty of sleep. Let's take down that stress. Like that's not helping at all. And this is how you're going to get things moving in a different direction. All right. So change your mindset of this is a battle and I'm going to war, and just consider, what if you gave your body what it actually needed and then trusted it to respond? Because this is exactly what happens with my clients. Is they come in and I'm like, all right, look at you. Like we're just not getting in enough calories and we're going to have to increase those calories up to maintenance. And they're like, oh my God, if I eat 2,100 calories, I'm going to get huge, because they're like, when I see their calories, they're getting in like 1,400, 1,500 calories from what they're tracking for the first few days. And it's this, I'm not losing weight at these low of calories. What's going to happen when I increase my calories? So it's a very real like fear and concern. But guess what happens when you eat more calories? You're going to have more energy, right? So people look at this like very black and white. Okay, so if say you're eating 1,500 calories and say I'm like, all right, we need to get you to 2,000 calories. So that's 500 calories more. And you're like, if I do that, then I'm going to gain a pound in 1 week, because I don't know if you know this, but 3,500 calories in a pound to gain a pound or to lose a pound. And so when we do those maths, you're like, wait a minute, I'm going to gain weight if I eat this much. And so here's what really happens. When you increase your calories, say from that 1,500 to 2,000 calories, you're going to have more energy. You're just going to be more active. And so it doesn't really translate to that. Now your body has more energy to actually improve your digestion. It can go to building muscle. It can go to growing hair and just going to overall health. And so it's grabbing those calories and shuffling them where they need to go and portioning out. This is why it's so important for you to make sure that you're hitting your protein goals and not going over on your fat goals. All right. So a lot of people I see, they're eating healthy. They're just eating a lot of fat, right? Between the chia seeds and the peanut butter and the almond milk and the butter, right? A lot of fat. And we can't really use fat for energy. You need fat, right? So I told you how to set up MyFitnessPal. Just make sure that you stay in that realm of calories or those macros and not going over on your fats. That's not going to have a benefit to you. And so what happens is now the body is getting the amount of calories that it needs. It's sending all those signals. And now guess what? we don't need to store fat on the body anymore. The body says, okay, let's go, boys, let's get out of here. And we start to see a reduction in body fat, even though we are not in a deficit. And so this is the basis of body recomposition. We are losing fat, and then we're slowly building muscle. Now, what happens is you can lose fat way quicker than you can build muscle, especially as we get older. It's just harder to build that muscle, but you absolutely can. It's just a slower process, but you'll start to see as we reduce the fat, you're going to see, and make sure that you're weight training, you're going to start to see that tone and definition in your body. And so this is why it's so important that we put these things together. Now, I know it's a lot, right? I know it's a lot. And so if you need help with this, because there are some very key components here. Making sure you're getting enough protein, making sure that you're getting the correct macros and calories, and making sure that you are strength training appropriately, right? We got to put this all together so that it will work and get you that banging body that you want. So if you need help with this, then reach out to a coach, reach out to me. It doesn't have to be me, but make sure that you get help with this, because this is complicated, all right? And I will tell you, we have some spots for clients this month. So Megan is awesome. Megan is in charge of my training. And next week, or I should say next month in June, she's going to be guiding me through the rest of my getting photo shoot ready process, right? Because she does this this is what she does, but she's also a professional bodybuilder as well. And so using some of those strategies, like I am not trying to get stage lean, I'm just trying to get photo shoot lean. And so there are definitely some tips and tricks, and I'll be talking about that as we get closer. Enough is enough, right? If you're done under eating and you're ready to just do it right, then follow the steps that I just talked about and see what happens. See what happens. I know going through a reverse diet can feel just like a mind fuck. It does for my clients until they start to see the results. They're like, oh my God, who knew I could eat more calories and lose weight and lose fat and feel amazing and look good? So that is what we're doing. All right, so hopefully this is helpful. I'll talk to you on Thursday, and I hope that you have a great week. Bye. I should probably tell you too, I forgot to say, I do have a masterclass coming up. It is the Bloated AF masterclass. It's like a workshop that is next Monday on the 19th at 7 p.m. EST. And I am going to put the link into the show notes. I know I talked about it last week, but I didn't actually put the link to sign up in the show notes. So that is in there. You're also going to get a 3-day meal plan as well. Or I shouldn't say a 3-day meal plan, a meal plan that will help you decrease that bloating in 3 days. So this is, think like elimination diet, right? This isn't something that is going to be long-term, right? There is definitely some things that you can do to get to unbloat yourself, and you're going to get that meal plan when you show up to the call. This is going to be for all attendees. I am not going to be sending it out to everybody that cannot make it to the call. It's on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. If you can't make it, I will send you the replay to the call, but you're not going to get the actual meal plan. I'm going to be talking about the meal plan on the call. If you can't make it, or at least going to know what it's about, you're just not going to have the actual meal plan with all the foods and everything like that on there. So just wanted to mention that. All right, so that's enough. If you know somebody that would benefit from this information, then please share it. I would also love it if you would share my podcast on your stories and just say, hey, if any of this resonates with you, just say, hey, check out this podcast that I just listened to, and then tag me in it or share the link or whatever. I would freaking love that. All right. So thank you again. I'll talk to you next week. Bye.